favorite QB, Shedeur Sanders, is off in a remote island location, surrounded by water, relaxing, as he should. But I also think he might be doing a bit of healing, and not just in a physical sense. So I wanted to talk about this. Things that I saw, comments after the game. Y'all know I did a What Happened to Our Buffs video where people responded on what they thought happened. And what stood out to me in the comments was they felt like the team just didn't show up and there was no protection, right? So let's talk about that. Okay, so I read in the comments, in addition to the video I did, that some people said that the O-line tried to punish Shedeur. And I said, now why would they do something like that? Now I already knew the answer. It was a rhetorical question. Somewhere toward the end of the season, maybe around the last game, there was a dinner being held. And after that dinner, Shedeur Sanders gifted Jordan Seaton, rightfully so, a Maybach for protecting him, for his loyalty, right? At the beginning of the season, we see Jordan Seaton come in. He and Shedeur Sanders, they're hanging out. And we saw the same thing with number 66 and 67. At least I saw the video where they were hanging out on a yacht. And it was after Shedeur Sanders was throwing the ball around, basically working out with Cam Ward and their quarterback coach. Then they moved on to a yacht. And Shedeur had his innermost circle around, like his girlfriend at the time and some other friends. And he had 66 and 67, Justin Mayers and Khari Benson. So the same thing we saw with Jordan Seaton, we saw with Khari Benson and Justin Mayers. Now, at the dinner, again, Jordan Seaton, Khari Benson, and Justin Mayers. But the gift went to Jordan Seaton. Now, I don't know per se how Khari Benson or Justin Mayers felt about it, but I know Shedeur Sanders gifted Jordan Seaton because he had racked up awards for not allowing pressure and no sacks at the time, maybe just one overall, on Shedeur Sanders. And I know when somebody recruited 66 and 67, they had the same intent. We take Jordan Seaton on the left and lock it down, and we have Khari Benson at right tackle, right? That's what, idealistically, that's what was supposed to happen. Ideally, that's what was supposed to happen. But that's not what happened. Right off the rip in the Nebraska game, we saw the O-line give way. But it was still early. People were like, Colorado, everybody's new. This is a rebuild. Everybody's trying to get it together. But I already said, by the time we got to halftime, I said, this looks like somebody has been compromised. I didn't have no problem with saying it because that's what it was getting. People had watched all season long. I did not. Even in the off season, they were watching. They could see the O-line practicing together. They could see who was who. They could hear who was doing the talking and who was getting burned and all these different things. Well, I didn't watch that, so I couldn't speak on that. But I've been watching football long enough to know what an O-line should look like. And when you see constant pressure being allowed on one side, that says that that one side has an issue. And what should have happened is the coach should have made adjustments. So Coach Prime has a problem with some of the players on the right side and the coach not making adjustments. Now, we all know Coach Prime don't say what he's thinking, so I just said it. When we got to the end of the season, it was no surprise to me that Coach Lodeholt was leaving, and number 67 was also in the portal. That just wasn't a surprise. Now, was Shedeur Sanders wrong for gifting Jordan Seaton a Maybach for his loyalty and protection because it's integral? No, he wasn't. But the timing. See, you got to be more strategic in your timing. See, what you have to understand is you had one more game left to play. So right before that game, you gift one lineman a gift for protecting you and not the rest. And then you still need the rest to show up for you. Now, it was said that Khari Benson didn't make the trip. I think Justin Myers did. But fans have never said that they felt like Justin Myers was compromised. They never said that. Now, you could hear Coach Lodeholt on the sideline at one particular game yelling and screaming at the team. which seems to be his coaching style rather than adjustments. It's not him, it's you. As if there had been a team meeting, a conversation, and the reason why only the right side is weak is because it's Shedeur. Now, I kept telling people all season long, Jordan Seaton's a freshman, and he's one person, and he's not allowing any pressure. And everybody on the right side, from the center to the right, was allowing all sorts of kind of pressure. So they older than him. They older than Jordan Seaton. So I understood Shedeur gifting Jordan Seaton, but I'm also smart enough to know when people are questionable or have shown you who they are and you still need them, either give that gift privately if it was essential for him to get it right then and there, or wait till after the bowl game. See, I would have just waited till after the bowl game to the right side of the O-line couldn't have the opportunity to allow me to get hurt or embarrass me, because that's what it was. So people were right. The O-line decided to punish him. Now, this is where people are not right. So you have YouTubers. They keep posting things. And it's not the breaking news part, because it is breaking news. But when they keep saying it's shocking, or, that Hank Zelinskas is getting into the portal, or it's shocking that Trevor Woods is getting into the portal, or it's shocking that Khari Benson is getting into the portal. It wasn't shocking that Trevor Woods got into the portal. It was not shocking that Hank Zelinskas got into the portal. And it's not shocking that Khari Benson got into the portal. It's just not. Now, let me focus on the O-lineman for a second. All season long, we got Coach Prime in his team meetings. He's actually having to tell this to a coach. If you don't make adjustments, I will. Then we start seeing the adjustments, and it's working. Shedeur has time to throw the ball. Now, the people that were complaining that it was Shedeur must have forgot that Shedeur already had 2 years of tape at Jackson State that showed us that he holds the ball just fine. Okay, maybe every now and then, he trying to extend the play. But I do want you to understand that they praise Cam Ward for extending the plays, but they knocked Shedeur Sanders for it. Understand that. So just like there are people out there hating on Colorado, there are people out there hating on Coach Prime, there are people out there hating on Shedeur Sanders, they go and praise other people for doing what they have done. And unfortunately, it seemed like we had some cattiness on the right side of the O-line across the depth chart. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but there were people that just up and left in the middle of the season. And it basically was at the right tackle position. And it was almost like it was forcing Colorado to have to play Khari Benson. This is when it seemed like the coach finally decided to take Khari Benson out and put somebody in. But then the other guy, he don't show up. So how am I going to replace Khari Benson? There was all kind of cattiness happening, whether you knew it or not. So I'm not surprised that Hank Zelinskas is in the portal. We saw the snaffluffles. What the snaffluffles told me is that Hank Zelinskas was tapping out. Whatever it is he was doing, he didn't want to do it no more. Now, I get it. His father played in the league. He played under the Dallas Cowboys. But we're talking about Hank Zelinskas, the son that's currently or was in the Colorado Buffaloes. His PFF grades historically, there were 2 seasons, 23 and 24. His grades were 59 and 61, respectively, across 23 and 24. Well, that's a lack of effort. So it doesn't matter how much a person's parent went pro and that's their DNA, their offspring. Maybe that's not what he wants. So him hopping in the portal and going to Rutgers is actually a good fit. It wasn't a surprise he was in the portal. Cash Cleveland was elevated to the starting position because why? A center named Khari just left. Just up and gone. So, or maybe got cut. But the point is, third string Cash Cleveland became a starter and balled out. So that meant the left side had Jordan Seaton and Cash Cleveland. We expect to see an announcement that Cash Cleveland is on scholarship next year. That's how well he did. He was the only freshman walk-on to ever start on the O-line for Colorado. Now, Khari Benson. Now, Khari Benson came from Indiana. When he left Indiana and came to Colorado, he was playing right tackle. So whoever decided to recruit him was actually doing the right thing, meaning he played 705 snaps for his time at Indiana, but in the season that he played all 12 games, which is the season that he left, right? That was 23. And he only allowed 1 sack. So a right tackle only allowing 1 sack who started. So let's get it right. a right tackle who only allowed 1 sack, who actually played 705 snaps. That's what Colorado needed. Somebody to mimic Jordan Seaton on the right side, just like Jordan Seaton what he did on the left. So they would have had the right tackle and the left tackle locked down, right? And if he did this at Indiana, surely he could come to Colorado and duplicate it. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. That did not happen. In fact, it's on video. I think it was after the Nebraska game. You know how the team always had pre-game stretching on the field, and you would see the coaches going player to player with motivational or encouraging type messages. Well, this one particular recruiter, because he said it, he went up to Khari Benson. He said, okay, now let's do what it is I brought you to do. So you knew that his performance was not satisfactory. But did that make it better? No. Because if that was at the start of the Baylor game, go rewatch the Baylor game. The entire game, not just the highlights. See if you can find the actual game and watch the game from beginning to end, and you will see that Khari Benson's performance was not satisfactory, even after being encouraged to do what he was brought to Colorado to do, which was lock down the right side. In fact, people are shocked that he hopped into the portal and went back to Indiana. I'm like, I could care less about where he went. I'm still asking, why did he come to Colorado? That's what I want to know. Was there money involved? Because it's not making any sense. If you balled out of Indiana, then you should be expected to ball out of Colorado, but that's not what happened. And then you go back to Indiana. That's a big question mark there. So it's not shocking that Hank hopped into the portal. It's not shocking that Khari Benson hopped into the portal. So those are just salacious headlines that you hear. And let's talk about the coaches for a second. So is it shocking that Coach Dancy left? If you don't know what Coach Dancy did, then yeah, it is shocking to you. At first I was like, wow, Coach Dancy left? I'm like, wait a minute, what did he do again? Because I knew he was part of the fun culture. I knew that, but I didn't know exactly what he did. And when I realized that he was the edge rusher coach like BJ Green, and I know I saw Warren Sapp working with BJ Green. You know, I posted it. It's out there somewhere. It says, Warren Sapp's success since he's been at Colorado has rendered Coach Dancy's position irrelevant. That's basically what it was. So I understand Coach Dancy and Coach Lodeholt both are going to Mississippi State, who only won 2 games, and that's great. Now, how did that come about? I have no idea. But we knew before the bowl game, and I am of the opinion that neither one of them, no matter how much I like people, should have been allowed to coach in that last bowl game. So, Coach Phil Lodeholt, the problematic piece of this team this year, yeah, special teams had its issues, but special teams was not going to keep the quarterback from performing as he should. So, while special teams was an issue, the main issue was lack of protection again, but isolated to the right side. So as the season ended, Shedeur Sanders was sacked 42 times. Previous season, it was 52 times, so 10 times less. And that's why Coach Lodeholt is gone, in my opinion, even if Mississippi State came calling. Now, I don't know if it happened like that. You know, I'm kind of starting to get the impression that maybe Coach Prime worked with Mississippi State to get Coach Dancy back to Mississippi. That might be possible. Then again, Mississippi State could have came to Coach Dancy, and Coach Dancy could have said, well, Coach Lodeholt want to go too, so we're going to go together. Maybe Mississippi State thought enough of the O-line's improvement that they just wanted to get Phil Lodeholt, and they thought enough of the improvement for the defense that they wanted Coach Dancy. That's what I think. I'm going to go with that. So either way, it's a good move for Colorado because it opens the door for us to get an O-line coach who is just as effective as Warren Sapp is on defense. That's what we need. And for Hank and Khari Benson to hop into the portal, it opens the door for us to get players who are not just going through the motions, but more Jordan Seatons, more Cash Clevelands. We get to duplicate what we have in Cash Cleveland and Jordan Seaton on the right side. That's what we get to do. So, It's a win-win for Colorado. More positions can get more players who want to ball out, who want to have PFF scores of 79 and higher. You know what I mean? Players who can all go first and second round. That's what we need, and that's what these openings give us the opportunity to do. That's what all this movement gives us the opportunity to do. Elevate. Join the conversation when we go live, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.